Americans are more stressed out than ever. According to Gallup polling, the most recent data shows that nearly half of all Americans, 49%, say they frequently experience stress. But what if a simple trick could take some of that stress away? One of the most followed and sought after experts in mindset, behavior change, and life improvement says the answer lies in 2 words: let them. We sat down with the award-winning podcast host and New York Times bestselling author, Mel Robbins.
I do believe with my entire heart and every cell in my body that you're one decision away from a different life.
Mel Robbins knows this because that is how she changed her entire adult life. She's now the #1 female podcaster in the world and a New York Times bestselling author. First of all, this is kind of a full circle for you. Welcome back to CNN.
Well, thank you. I don't think a lot of people realize that follow me now, that I actually spent 3 years as a legal analyst here.
I mean, I remember seeing you on TV, and here you are. You went to law school, you passed the bar, you were a lawyer, and you managed to get a TV gig, and you weren't happy?
When I landed a job at CNN, what was happening in my personal life is not what you saw on television. What was happening in my personal life is that my husband and I were about $800,000 in debt. I was going back home to a house that had liens on it and a phone that was ringing off the hook with debt collectors calling because, they're asking for money.
I'm literally getting anxious listening to this.
I responded to the crisis in my life by avoiding doing anything. And so I found myself chronically hitting the snooze button 4, 5, 6 times a day. My kids were the ones who were waking me up because they had missed the bus. Oh, no. And I became a person that I didn't recognize.
What was it that sort of lifted you out of bed?
It was just this dumb trick. I literally just started counting backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I stood up. And that one technique of counting backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, changed my whole life. The decision to get out of bed, that turned my life in an entirely new direction. And it's the initial domino that falls. And that's why I say you're one decision away from a different life.
It's a technique she wrote a book about, and it's backed by science, by giving your brain a different pattern to use than the destructive one. Her latest book is starting a revolution of the mind. The let them theory is so effective, people around the world are tattooing the theory on their bodies.
I was the person that was pissed off in the grocery store, stressed out and gripping the steering wheel, annoyed by inconsiderate behavior, bending over backwards because people made me feel guilty. Just playing into narcissistic personality styles, just over and over and over, trying to make other people happy, trying to change other people, controlling other people because it thought it would make me feel just exhausting. And when I stumbled onto these 2 words, let them, while I was micromanaging my son at his high school prom.
Her daughter was the one who uttered the 2 simple words to her.
What I learned in researching the let them theory is this, that when we have an opinion about, worry about, or try to pressure someone else to change, we don't motivate them. Based on neurology and based on the science, you actually create resistance to changing. And here's why.
So you're making it worse?
You're making it way worse. I'm going to teach you how to use this theory. It's going to make your relationships way better, and it's also going to make you more effective. Because you cannot change somebody else, but I never said you couldn't influence them. And we're going to use science. So the first thing you have to say is let them. Let them fail. Let them struggle. Let them get bad grades. Let them lose that job. Let them put on more weight. Because when you say let them, a number of things are happening that are really important. Number one, you're actually seeing and accepting a person exactly as they are and exactly as they aren't. Maybe for the very first time. Wow. Second thing you're doing when you say let them is you are recognizing that this situation and this person's behavior right now is completely outside of my control. Therefore, why on earth would I waste any time and energy trying to control something that I cannot control?
But it does not end with let them. There is a second part Robbins calls let me. When you say let them, my first reaction when I saw the cover of the book was like, so you're just going to let people do everything they want to do, walk all over you, just go like, oh, I surrender?
You're already doing that.
Damn.
See, you're already doing that and then bitching about it. And then aiming it back at yourself. The let them theory is a power move because you're letting people reveal who they are and who they're not. You're letting them reveal through their behavior what their priorities are and where you stand. When you let somebody reveal who they are, let them, and then you go, let me remind myself that my relationships are my responsibility. Let me remind myself that I get to choose how much time and energy I pour into another person or a business meeting or an interview or a date or a conversation or a text chain.
Do you have to say it a lot in some instances?
I say it all the time.
Okay.
All the time, especially with family.
Yeah,
Especially with family.
Yeah.
It will change your family profoundly for the better.
Look, I tried this let them idea, and it did have an effect on me. I sort of realized how much I was trying to control things around me that simply are never going to be in my control, and how much energy that takes. If you want to learn a little bit more about this, you can go to CNN.com for more of my interview with Mel and learn more about how the let them theory works and other helpful life hacks from her other best-selling books.